Boring!
Dad, we can't see the movie.
I can't believe we're paying to see something we get on TV for free. If you ask me, everybody in this theater is a giant sucker. Especially you!
When looking at cartoons and TV shows, there are always defining jokes or gags that are a part of a brand for that certain show. For example, the way characters act on screen and how they portray themselves shows us who's intelligent and not so intelligent, who's funny and who's not so funny, and so on and so forth. But there is always one thing that will always stick out in the hearts of viewers when watching a TV show or cartoon, and that's when the show addresses us personally.
So, let's get building. Get that camera out of my face!
What are you looking at? What's going on right now?
Apparently, we don't care about the fourth wall at all anymore.
If you are unfamiliar with this type of gag, it's called a fourth wall break. You see, normally when watching shows, it's usually in the perspective of if we were like a fly on the wall, just observing what's going on in the world around us. We're not actually in the conversation that the characters on screen are having. What the fourth wall does, however, is it takes that wall that the fly is on and it tears it down completely so that now we are being addressed and we are now in the conversation. Sometimes it can be very subtle in doing this, or it can be very obvious. Any TV show that you can think of has most likely done this sort of joke before, but the thing is, it doesn't even stop there. Movies, books, comics, tons of media shared all across the globe can break the fourth wall, whether this be really subtle, like addressing the show's runtime, like in this clip in Phineas and Ferb.
The day may come when we'll give up on fruitless searches after a mere 11 minutes.
Or really obvious, like when Deadpool is literally talking to us through the movie.
Oh, hello.
There are also tons of ways to be able to break the fourth wall. A slight look at the camera, talking to the camera, and also one that you may not have really thought about is narration.
This is me.
Narration is a staple in the movie world. Most of the time you will have someone addressing some context of a certain situation, or maybe just the opening of a film. But this also raises a question. Would this count as a fourth wall break? Now, you may be a bit confused on why this would be classified as a fourth wall break, but if you think about it, it can be.
Like precious, precious blood in an animal, customers are what keeps the Krusty Krab strong and alive.
Squidward, your ceiling is talking to me!
I want to show you a clip, and I want you to determine for yourself whether you think this is a fourth wall break.
I resign.
But
Say no more.
I was just gonna ask him to clean the bathroom.
Now, again, you may be a bit confused, so let me explain something. Because Jeremy is left with no one to talk to and he is explaining what he was going to say, who is he explaining this to? It can't be himself, so is he addressing the context to us? I guess that's up for you to decide. Fourth wall breaks are an art, and there is no doubt about that, because just as that question I asked before can be subjective, so can art. Same way an art piece can be good as well as a fourth wall break, and art can be bad, which unfortunately fourth wall breaks can be accustomed to as well. For example, we see this in She-Hulk. Now, in the comics, for me personally, I think this is a really refreshing take that the MCU comics actually do. However, when they tried to translate this into the TV show, it really fell flat on its face because remember, it's all about context. The MCU is a franchise that is not used to having fourth wall jokes thrown into the mix because it takes itself seriously. But now that She-Hulk is the only one that can do this, what does this mean for the series? Will She-Hulk go into the next Avengers movie and tell the scriptwriters to make a happy ending and to tell Kevin to put Megan Thee Stallion in the final battle? Like, who knows? You see how this doesn't work for this franchise? It's because the context isn't there. Compare this to where fourth wall breaks are thrown throughout. For example, the Cartoon Network series Chowder. Come on, you thought I was going to make a video about fourth wall breaks and not talk about Chowder? Chowder is the perfect example of a show that does fourth wall breaks right, because the context is right. It's a comedy show that is full of these gags that are thrown around constantly, from addressing the Cartoon Network watermark, to addressing that they're in a show, and even to the point where the animated characters point out that they aren't even real, and they're just in a cartoon series.
We're in a cartoon! Cartoon?
Hell, they even did a bit where they ran out of money for animation, so the voice actors are on screen raising money so that they can get the animation back. This is how you do fourth wall breaks right, with the right context. But you know, I've mentioned books, I've mentioned shows, comics, movies, but there's one piece of media that I haven't even mentioned yet that does fourth wall breaks amazingly, and that is video games. Undertale, One Shot, hell, even games like Apex Legends have fourth wall breaks throughout. Undertale is a game that remembers what you have done no matter what. You can delete your save file, hell, even erase the game off your computer entirely, and the game will still remember what you have done. Every path you took, every enemy you spared, every enemy you killed, it remembers all of it. It's not even just one character that addresses this, multiple do. If you meet Papyrus in one file, delete and start a new one, he will recall that he has seen you before. Same thing as Sans, and also Flowey. Another game that does fourth wall breaks well is One Shot. Like literally at the beginning of the game it tells you that you are the one who is going to save the world, and then it will pop up with an error message addressing you by name, asking you if you are really ready for this. This game also puts documents on your computer, changes your background, and much more. It's honestly really eerie and creepy how this game breaks the fourth wall so well. Now, the biggest reach for a fourth wall break that I just gave you as an example, which you may be scratching your head at right now, is Apex Legends. Now, although this game has a story and the voiceovers don't really serve as a fourth wall break in this case, these lines from the characters can.
45 seconds, and there's the ring.
Inside the next ring. I love this. Good job, me. Whole squad down.
Who are they talking to? I mean, I have no teammates with me, so are they talking to themselves, or can this be classified as a fourth wall break? Again, this is all up to perspective, but for me personally, I think it does. Going in depth with the art of the fourth wall break can spark a lot of debate, and for good reason. It needs to be classified what really counts as a fourth wall break, how well it's done, if it's done in the right context. It's all up for interpretation, but one thing is for sure, the fourth wall break is a staple in the media world. And this just leaves me with asking you one question. Are you prepared for it?
If what happens on TV happens to us, does it mean that we're on?
So we all got home and everything was fine. You two made up, we're all safe, and all's well that ends well.
Hey, thank you very much for watching this video. This is the first video on this channel, so, you know, if you want to help a little channel grow a bit more in the algorithm, leave a like, subscribe, comment, you can do whatever, it's up to you. Next video hopefully will be out soon. I don't know what it's going to be about, so hopefully you can stick around to find out with me. But with that said, if you do want to catch up with what I'm doing, you can follow me on socials. It's Rowanson TV everywhere. So yeah, you can do that if you want, and with all that said, later.